Hi everybody, it's Jenny, and today I'm going to be sharing a set of 4 Halloween cards using a bunch of different dies from Miss Ink Stamps. I'm going to be using a mixture of elements from each die set to create my cards, starting with the Modern Typeset frame die. Next up, I'll be using elements from the Oh Happy Day frame set. As well as the frames and alphabet from the E-I-E-I-O frame set. And finally, I'll be using a piece of the Magnolia frame die as well. Along with all the dies, I'm going to be using a couple different paper pads from my stash, including this Metallics, and 3 different Halloween paper pads. So off camera, I will choose my papers and then go ahead and do all the die cutting. So here are all my frames and layering pieces, and I also cut out a few elements from some vellum, as well as a couple pieces of the cut apart ephemera from one of the paper pads. I had also used the black metallic cardstock to cut out a sentiment that we'll see here in a second from the letters from each of the frame dies, as well as some of the flowers and leaf stems from the Oh Happy Day frame set. For my first card, I am taking this raven pattern with these flowers that I trimmed down to A2 size, and I'm layering a silver frame that I cut out from the Modern Typeset frame die, as well as the frame from the Magnolia set. And then I'm going to layer on my sentiment that I created using both of the alphabet sets from each of the frame dies, and it's going to read Fabulous. Next, I'm going to layer up a couple of my die cut flowers and add those as well. For my next card, I'm going to start with an A2 size piece of black cardstock, and I'm going to layer another piece of pattern paper on top of that. And I use the Oh Happy Day frame set to cut that, as well as the 2 frames here. And then I also cut a piece of different pattern paper to fit under that frame that I'm going to layer a piece of vellum over just to soften it up. And my next card is assembled pretty much the same way, except I don't have that additional layer on top of the A2 piece. So I'm just going to go ahead and assemble this side by side with the other one. And for my sentiments, I'm just going to go ahead and use those cutter parts and add those to the middle of each of the frames. And then I'm just going to add some additional embellishments with those floral pieces that I cut using the Oh Happy Day frame die as well. Once I had each of my cards laid out, I decided I want to go ahead and put together one more. So I just started playing around by layering the Modern Typeset frame onto some different pattern papers to see how that would look. And after flipping through the paper pad, I decided to go with the EIEIO frame die so I could layer up a couple more of these pattern papers. I thought this image here would work really well with the smallest die in the set, and it framed it perfectly, so I went with this piece for that layer, and then I just flipped through to pick the other 3 layers. And once I had all my papers picked, I went ahead and die cut each of them out. Once I had everything all layered up, I thought the top layer image was a little too plain, so I brought in some Vintage Photo Distress Oxide, and I'm just going to go ahead and add that to the edges. And then I brought in my sprayer just to add some water, and then I picked that up with my paper towel. And then after I cleaned up my craft mat, I went ahead to go dry my panel with my heat gun, and you'll see that it came back a little different. So parental supervision advised. I ended up setting the corner on fire to give it a really cool look. Next, I went ahead and started gluing everything together. And here are my finished cards. I think these frame dies are super fun to use, and you could use them with any paper collection really to create a quick set of cards. And the alphabet dies and extra little goodies like all the little flowers and leaves are perfect for adding additional embellishments. And it's really cool that each of these die sets work on their own, but they're also really fun to mix and match. For my final card here, I ended up trimming out the word magic from one of the pattern papers to create my sentiment, and I think it turned out pretty cool. I absolutely love Halloween, and I think these dies are the perfect way to use some of the fun papers in your stash. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!